Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, Caribbean. Good evening, the world. This is Marcia Weeks, and you are watching the Marcia Weeks show. And right on the screen, you see what we have because I want to make sure that we advertise this. The Solemn Walk number 3, Sunday, October, 6 o'clock, 3 p.m. We are walking for an end to gun violence, and we want to thank God that we have not been having a lot of this issue for the last, I would say, 2 weeks. For the last 2 weeks, we saw where the residents in Christchurch, they're thanking the police, and we are thanking the police as well, and we're thanking God. So we want to go through Chapman Lane. Chapman Lane, we are walking right from St. Mary's Church to Chapman Lane. Okay, so that's what's happening, and I don't want us to forget it. So I wanted to start off with it tonight. Okay, guys, are we sharing? Are we liking? Good night, good night, good night again. How is everybody doing? Oh, we are getting ready. We are so getting ready for the Solemn Walk, Queen Bee. I said we are ready. We are getting ready. I went to the police today and we got our permit. We got our permit and quite a bit that we have to pay. It's over $900 that we have to pay to do that walk. So your donations are very much welcome. And you can bring it to the event at this late stage. You can bring it to the event. We welcome it. And I really want to sincerely thank you for partnering. We do this together, right? We do it together because the power of the people is greater than the people in power. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. Look at what we're doing here. And it's not even, we're not even, 10% of Barbados. We are not even 10% of Barbados. Sometimes over time we get 11,000 people watching, and so on. We probably, that's about 5% of Barbados. But listen, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Look at what we're doing with just a small number of us. And we take care of this every week. We come on here, Queen Bee. Queen Bee is saying, yes, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Time to shut down the country because the power of the people is greater than the people in power. CG, good evening, CG. We are ready to go again. And I hope we can see you, CG, on Sunday. We have our placards are ready. We're using the same placards. CG, aren't we grateful? Aren't we grateful? Come on, people, say a thank God that we don't have to add a name. We don't have to add a name to those placards, Remember, we're going to be walking with the placards in Chapman Lane. In 2 weeks, we never had to add a name to the placard, to the placards. Isn't that wonderful, CG? And everybody listening, and we are still waiting on the government with their plan. So it's the people, it's the prayer, and it's the people. Because remember, the government says what? They've put an advisory in place, council, and they're coming up with plans. They haven't come up with them yet, but it's 2 weeks and we haven't seen anything yet. We are going to keep praying and keep working and keep the awareness going. Yes, because the power of the people is greater than the people in power. All right? Yes. Judith Jilks, I know I'm going to see Judith Jilks. Good evening, she says. To the loyal opposition, Marcy, Dave, and the panel, like and share. Welcome, love. Love up. Vote the BIP out. Yes, sure. Vernon Garnes, good night. Sandra Dixon, good night. Cecilia Miller, good night. Joy and Faith, good night. Loyal Daughter 66, good night. And Patrick Designs, good night. It's me. Good night. Marcia, good night. Jacqueline says good night. Owen Hines, how are you? Teroni, good night. Good night. Good night. Sop Bread, good night. Mystic Angel, good night. Sanchez, good night. Marcia Miller, We have so many Marcias, so many namesakes. Steve Moore, watching from the UK, and Steve Moore, I'm going to be in the UK. Steve Moore on the 21st. It's the 21st that I'm going to be in the UK, right there in Brixton. People message me for the poster so I can tell you exactly where I'm going to be, and I'm hoping that you don't leave me there by myself. Thanks. A shout out to Tyrone. Oh boy, I'm forgetting his name right now. Tyrone, who is working, doing the event. They're producing the event there. And Steve, I hope you come out and bring out some others with you. Edwin Price, good evening. Edwin, are we seeing you tomorrow? How is your son doing with the basketball and all? Emerson Ba, born again. Good evening, born again. Born again, I need some molasses. FX Trading. Pauline Maynard. Hi, Pauline. Good to hear you. Heathcliff, good morning. Say hi, Heathcliff. Pauline, say hi to your family, your husband for me. Chavar Blackman, Tony Williams. Oh my goodness. Another Marcia. Oh Lord, we are something as Janine Butcher. How are you doing, Janine? Marlene Brathwaite, good evening. Kamar, good evening. I haven't seen Kamar in a little bit. Good to see Kamar. Kamar, good evening. Bim Lady, good evening. Eileen Tall, good evening. Listen, folks, we are ready. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. We're going to have a little discussion around that tonight. And I want you to get ready to call in because we're going to talk about this. Because sometimes, guys, we say things. Tamika Harper, sometimes we say things. Do we really believe it? Are we thinking about it? Have we thought about what we're saying? The power of the people is greater than the people in power. And I tell you, I'm seeing this in operation daily. I showed you how somebody passed by and they brought, guess what? They brought a bag of socks to be donated. People have left toys, so these are white socks, brand new white socks, right? To be donated. And they have vests for boys, yes? And the box I was showing you, but we have so many other people are bringing stuff. They're bringing stuff because we're not waiting on the people in power, right? We are not waiting on the people in power. We're going to take care of each other. It's called what? Right? It's a Bajan spirit. The Bajan spirit, the people, the power of the people, right, is exhibited in the Bajan spirit. And that Bajan spirit is greater than the people in power. Never let anybody make you feel that you are lower than them. We've got some sweets for them, not too many sweets. We got rice, right? This is what we're doing. We're taking care of each other. We got oil, yes? We got some condensed milk, right? And we got some soap powder to wash clothes, yes? And there are so many other things that we are collecting. That's just a sample that came to my house, but they brought stuff to Caswell. People have called me. They've got toys. People have raised money. They have lots of food items, and we are going to be distributing them because the power of the people of Barbados is greater than the people that are in power by the sheer numbers. There are 280,000 of us, guys. The sheer numbers of us. And just by our love of each other, us taking care of each other. So I'm going to ask you, guys, I'm going to, Esther saying that's true. So folks, I want us to think about this tonight. And then to ask yourself, have you shared? Have you liked? Have you shared? We need you to do that. We are part of this revolution. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. When we lose our fare, right? What happens? They lose their power. Do you understand? When we lose our fare, they lose their power. Here are these little boys and they're praying. They're praying. Yes, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Yes, we just have to move into action. We just have to move into action. and we are moving into action. We're going to be out on the streets on Sunday. No excuses, Barbadians. My Bajan people, no excuses. No excuses. Don't tell me the sun hot. Don't tell me you want to rest. I want to rest too. It's Sunday, you know, you try to get a little Sunday sleep after you eat your lunch, and the niggeritis steps in, and the itis steps in. But no, we're going to be out there 3 o'clock. Walk with an umbrella. We're going out there. Okay? We're going to be out there 3 o'clock. White, we're dressed in white, so, you know, we're uniforms. Yes? And we're going to have some performances are going to be there as well. And I'm sure that's Judy Jilks right there with that red cloth right there. That's Judy. I can make out Judy and some other people. I know it's Judy. And all of these placards you're seeing there, CG is who worked on them right there at Mr. Caswell Franklin's Unity Workers Union office. And I want to take this moment to send a big shout out to Caswell Franklin. And we can't wait for him to get back on this show, to feel better and get back on this show. Yes, but this is what is happening. I see Dave has a little video there, or a little picture, and the police have just went, and I got the permit from the police, $900 and something, and I tell you what, we are the people takes care of it. Okay, the power of the people is greater than the people in power, and they take care of it. Okay, and that's us right there. This spot that we're looking at. We were at Wellington Street, exactly right there where the fire gutted out those homes. Where you see there were the homes that were there, and that's where the fire gutted out that place, and that's us there. Okay. So this time we're going to be at St. Mary's Church right there in front of Jubilee Gardens in town. And then we're going to head into Chapman's Lane. I want to take this time to give a big shout out before I do the anthem. A big shout out to Donna Quinton. Donna Quinton and her team they have bought the groceries already. Thanks to those of you who have donated the money for us to cook the food. And she's going to be providing, with your help and all the donations that came in. Listen, Barbadian people, I tell you, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. You understand? Because when they want to starve us out, when them and the IMF get together and poverty licking us down, we're going to take care of each other. The people of Barbados, we are the ones coming out on top. You understand? Yeah. Yes, they did. All the evidence of the fire is gone. And that is the spot, Kamhar, that we want to hold a big street fair for the children in Christmas. We want to fill that place with lots of big rides and so on. We'll come back and talk about that. But we want to do that for Christmas. We've started to get some donations in for that and to really love on the people there, right? Yes. Okay, so let's go. And I'm hoping that we are coming. We are going to be there again. Let me just see the thumbs up of those who are going to be there on Sunday. No excuses, please. No excuses. Don't tell me, please. No excuses. We belong out there. We are the people. We are the people. We belong out there. Let's do this together. Okay. Let's do it together. We belong out there together. Yes? Yes, and I'm not sure why this thing decided to come up on my screen at this time to give me problems. Devil, you're a liar. the Lord has been the people's guide for the past 300 years. And that's why the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And we say the voice of the people is the voice of God. The voice of the people is the voice of God. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. And I want that to sink in. I want that to sink in this evening. Sink in and listen. If it's not about this, if it's not about Barbados, then we're not defending it. Yeah, we are not defending it. We're not defending it, and that's why I say, guys. The other night I was really, really, and I'm still very upset to know that our prime minister does not rep our flag, does not wear our flag at the United Nations. That's something I believe that should concern every Barbadian. Every Barbadian should be concerned about that. I said to my husband, it's like, it's not wearing the flag, not wearing the Barbadian flag. It's like a couple that's married and they prayed over their rings and they're wearing their rings, right? It's symbolic of the union. And then you look, one morning you get up and you look and the ring is not on your husband's finger or not on your wife's finger, and they have not been wearing it for months. Do you know what that means? Somebody might say, well, it might have gotten lost, but there's no discussion, no ring being worn. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? And that's how I feel about the prime minister not wearing the flag when all the other nations are wearing their flag. She's wearing the UN. The UN symbol is on her right breast, not the Barbadian flag. No, and every Barbadian, you need to write articles about that. You need to put it on your Facebook page. You need to speak about it because it is telling us something. It is saying something to us. It's very, very important. Yes, Tony Paris, please tell them to like and share. Like and share. We do this together. And if it's not for you guys, so you coming on, there'll be no show. What would be the point of it? But we're doing this together for our country. We're being watchdogs. We're watching over our country. And that is why we're coming out on Sunday at 3. I see some thumbs up here that people who are coming out. Okay, so donations, Kentley, can be made at Unity Workers Union, but tomorrow is Saturday, so you could bring it to the march, or you can message me for the details on how you can transfer. How do you message me? 236-7000, 236-7000. The same number that you call in on, you can message me to get the transfer details. Okay, thank you, Kentley, for asking. As I said, I just picked up the bill from the police today. It was $900 and something dollars for the. I wish I had I will show you later on once I can get hold of it and show you. And but you know what? We don't owe anybody anything. Every week it's taken care of. We do it together. Myself, my husband, Caswell, when he's around, once it's short, we're going to put it in. We make it happen. Yeah, we make it happen. Yes. So I think that I want to give a big clap to everybody. It's a true Bajan spirit, and all the food that has come in for the people there on Chapman Lane. Barbadians, take a bow. Take a bow. It's a Bajan spirit. It is a Bajan spirit. That is really, really wonderful. Now, folks, we have something that we want to share with you tonight. Where are the people that love the new tunes? Who are the people that love the new tunes? They call it the tunes. Judy Jilts, are you there? We've got something new for you. So you have to tell me if you like it. We've got something new for you. This turned up today. So let's let's we've got a new tune. Dave, you ready? Or not yet? Is Dave ready? I love that, Kamar. Unbought and unbossed. Yes, Shirley Chisholm. But let's hear the new tune.
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money.
Wait, say what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for you?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money. Money. Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money. Money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
Dave, you have to play that again. Wheel and come again. Wheel and come again. Do you all like it? Do you all like it? This turned up in my WhatsApp today. Play it again. Wheel and come
Say
again.
what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for you?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I want money.
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 Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
Let me tell you. Listen. You all love it. It's hot off the press, you know. I got that this evening. Give me thumbs up if you love it. If you love it, or you say, they need to put something else with it. Oh Lord have mercy. Anybody? Oh Lordy. You know we like to have fun on here too. Marie Watson, you like it too. Jacqueline Allen, you like it too. Anybody was dancing? Who was moving to it? Teroni. I know Teroni would love it. I know Teroni will love it. I know we're gonna play it through. It's gonna grow on you. Yes, it's me. You love it too. Oh Lord have mercy. Yes, I tell you. Oh yes, yeah. Yes, I was dancing. Yes. Me, Esther Blue. I know, Judy. I know you were dancing to the Judy. I know you were dancing to it, Judy. Oh my goodness. Yes. Pauline, love it. Who want to hear it one more time? Let's hear it one more time. Dave. Let's wait. As a matter of fact, let me see. Dave, look, I'm going to send you a video, Dave, that we just got done. And this is promoting the this is not the official video. You know we've got to do an official video for it, right? We got to do an official video. But I'm going to send Dave. Let me just send Dave this. So that which just came again in my box. I tell you, these people, when I tell you you are some talented Bajan people, you know. Very, very, very talented. Right? But the people in St. Lucie, and I'm hoping that one of them can come on tonight. The people in St. Lucie, the citizens of St. Lucie, they are planning a motorcade. All right, so there's a motorcade that they're planning, and this is going to be, yes, this is going to be, I believe it's the 27th. I'm just looking to see the date. Oops, I think this. Okay, I have to double check on that date. Just give me a moment. This is live TV, so I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Just hold a minute, guys. Just let me double check because mistake. There's a mistake on it. So we can't do that one day. We can't play that. We can't play it. I have to get it redone. I can't play it with that picture on it. All right. But I must get it redone. And let me just but Dave, can you go ahead and play it again, please?
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money.
Wait, say what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for you?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money. Money. Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money. Money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
We have to hear it one more time. One more time. Somebody said we need to combine it with I only
this
pretended.
already. I want money.
Wait, say what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for you?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting nobody. I tell you this already. I want money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Listen, there's nothing wrong. We have a little fun. You know, because everything is so serious. So we can laugh a little bit, right? And I love that idea. Who is that? Have that idea that it's like a remix and put it with pretending. I only pretend to care about people I want money. Oh Lordy. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. I think that comment, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll pass it on to the young people. You know, I am telling you, but you know, sometimes if you don't laugh, if you don't laugh, you cry. Right? So sometimes it's good to laugh. Yes, Tamika. Sometimes you have to laugh. Sometimes. Well, we're supposed to have Mr. Grenville Phillips. Oh, sorry. This is a somebody said a little boy here in the house dancing. What? Somebody said a little boy dancing to the song. You have to tell me if I can show it. Oh my Lord. I'm sorry. So somebody show, because we have little children who wait up for pretending, you know. And there's a little boy. There's a little boy dancing to the song already. Oh my Lord, y'all are something else. Wages, man, I tell you. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I'm waiting on Mr. Grenville Phillips. You all making me have fun tonight. Mr. Grenville Phillips is supposed to be coming on tonight. I'm not seeing him just yet. I'm sure Dave will give him a call for me. Well, it's me. I come the last. Remember last? I was so upset the last show. You remember? So sometimes you just have to laugh. I'm waiting on the TINT song. Who gonna write the TINT song? I am waiting on that TINT song. Yes. So I'm hoping that that Mr. Phillips come on. But we have. Let's look again at Bajan talent. Dave, you have the one there with the crime, the minister reporting on the crime. Let's put up that one. This is then there's a video, and the minister is reporting on the crime, and then he's ducking all the shots. This is the AG, supposed to be the AG. So when the AG was in opposition, the AG was saying, that things are terrible and people need to be fired. And anybody seen that one? It's a video that's done, and I think Dave has that, so he could play that as well. Listen, they're making up dance move and say the dance move need to say, we want money. The dance moves. Oh my lordy. Oh goodness, goodness, goodness. Yes, go ahead, Dave.
Have to depend on government. We have to depend on government. Crime is out of control. Crime is out of control. The AG want firing. The AG want firing. Give me the vote and watch me. Give me the vote and watch me. Yes, thank you. Now watch me. We can get rid of crime. No, it was the last administration's fault. Over the last 10 years, crime was allowed to get out of control. You understand? We cannot solve crime overnight. Yeah. Not both hit. Things are working. We have set up a new commission. The police say that crime is down 0.0000% compared to 1937. And we, as the government, are committed. My friends, crime is all over the world. Crime is all over the world. And we cannot depend on government to solve crime. The Attorney General is doing the best he can. We need a community approach.
No, again, we're laughing at ourselves, but isn't this the truth? Anybody believe this is not the truth? This is the truth. This is the truth. I am telling you. This AG, according to this government that's in, this AG should have been fired about 50 times already. This AG should have been fired about 50 times already. According to them. Yeah? We have to laugh. What else can we do but laugh? Huh? What else can we do but laugh? The talk switches, no lie in that video. And this is why I'm saying, folks, that we, the people, our eyes are wide open. Our eyes are wide open. When we lose our fear, they lose their power. We can see through them. We know exactly what they're doing, right? Now, while I wait on Mr. Grenville Phillips to join us, I want to talk to us about this West Nile virus. And I was doing a bit of research, and it is very interesting, I have to say. And I want us to have this discussion tonight, folks. Let's discuss this together. I find it very interesting that we knew about it because someone went on the WHO site, right? Because someone went on the WHO site and called David Ellis. And David Ellis broke the news on brass tacks. That's exactly how we know the population of Barbados, how we know about this West Nile virus. Can you imagine that? It was put on the WHO site. They never came to the people of Barbados. They never came to the people of Barbados and said something to us. How did we hear? Secondhand, it was put on the WHO site. This is what I'm saying to us. We are of no regard to this administration. And what is really odd is that it is so rare in the Caribbean. Actually, the first two cases was, I believe it was Cayman and in South Florida. Okay. And to think that, you have to really, these things, they say some things that make you say, what is that doing here in Barbados? Why? Why? Cayman Islands, I'm sorry, the Cayman Islands, right, in 2001. You see how long ago? 2001, in the Cayman Islands, right? And we've never had another human testing for it. I often, I shy away from conspiracy theories, but sometimes you really have to think about it. Now, Angel Humble, and you can double check on this. Yes, it is in Trinidad and it's in Jamaica, but it's in animals, not in humans. Not in humans. And that's the research that I found. If you have something different, you can let me know. But it is in Trinidad, but in birds, in animals. It's in Jamaica in animals. It was here in birds, but never. But in humans, it's in 2001. In the Cayman Islands, was the first Caribbean country that they found the virus in a human being. Mhm. Right? No press conference yet. How all of a sudden we have this virus here? Why is it first put on the WHO site? What it makes you wonder, honestly. Right? It makes you wonder. Right? And as you're rightly, Annabelle, it's the WHO, it's the agency telling us it's not a threat to Barbados, not our Ministry of Health. And it's only because someone went on the WHO site and then came and told Mr. Ellis, and Mr. Ellis, thank God for him, said it on brass tacks. How do you feel about that as a citizen of Barbados? Hmm? Cecilia said it's another distraction from the real issues affecting us. Maybe looking to plan something. Probably more looking to plan something. Why did you go straight to the WHO with it? Why they're the first to hear and the citizens in here don't know anything? Someone said that even the nurses at the hospital did not know. It's alleged that the nurses, they didn't know. And this is the same thing that they were seeking to do with the what happened at Dighton Griffith. At Dighton Griffith, did you hear what this propaganda machinery, what they put out? You heard what they said that one student had a sharp object. They put up the picture of the sharp object for me. This is the sharp object. This is what I'm trying to say to us. I want us Barbadians to wake up. The Ministry of Education told us. The Ministry of Education told us, not me, that the student was caught with a sharp object. One would think a sharp object, it could have been a protractor, couldn't it be? It could be probably a little pocket knife, I don't know. But this is a whole big machete, a cutlass. However, the propaganda machine says that it was a sharp object. It could be a pencil point, a pen knife, a protractor. It could be somebody brought a needle to school to sew. Let's just get ridiculous now. And that is what it was, a big hellebop cutlass. This is the kind of nonsense. This is the same government who came out and told us, don't worry about anything. It's just the motor vehicle information that was hacked. The same government, it's just the motor vehicle that was information that was hacked. Then we find out, no, it's not. Even the hackers come out and call the government a liar. Who would believe, you're right, Nibs? Who would believe that this is what it is? And that is why when we see stuff turn up on the WHO site, we can't trust this government. Someone wielding a cutlass in our schools with people's children, and you're going to talk about it as a sharp object. Lies, lies upon lies, lies upon lies. Yes, come hard. The young man who had a cutlass at the school. Even the hackers said that they were lying. Can't fit in a school bag. This is what they say is a sharp object. Now, what happened? The reports are that it's alleged that the young man went and got it from somewhere at the school and had it. And we really want to celebrate that other student. There's a student who talked him out of releasing this cutlass. Or we don't know what would have happened there at that school. Don't you think that the school had a right to tell the parents the truth of what was happening there? Huh? We have no confidence in this administration. None. And we're not blaming the administration. This is because of them why the child pick up the cutlass. It's always about how it's dealt with. We are tired of the lies. Simply tired of the lies. And what is going to happen now is that um, um, anytime they come to us with anything, they must understand the citizens are not going to believe them. Right? The citizens will never believe them. Correct Springer Memorial all over again. And someone said to me again, what is going on? Right? So yes, the reports are that the cutlass belonged to the groundsman at the school, which is understandable because they use it, to keep the shrubs in, for gardening and so on. Yeah. We are tired of the lies. This is what was at the school, people. Yeah. So it's no wonder we don't trust the government. Those of you who are watching, and we need you to go back and let them know that it's very difficult. After what happened over the last couple of days, it's very difficult. Correct. It's long overdue. That minister needs to go. I remember. Okay, I see Mr. Phillips is there. Yes, and let me know if he's ready. But I remember. When I was saying the minister needs to go. That people were saying to me, that I was being harsh and no, and but look at what's going on now. Look at what's going on. Yeah. Well, let me bring Mr. Phillips in, and we want to welcome him to the Marcia Week show.
Yes, good
Good
morning.
night,
Good day.
Mr. Phillips.
Yes,
Good night, sir. How are you?
I'm well as usual.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. I saw you had a beautiful article, as you normally do when you have your difficult conversation articles. I spend some time and I read them, very well written. I must say you're a very good writer.
Yes.
And one of these days, I think you need to put them all together, and I don't know, put a little book together or something. But they're very well written, I must say. And you had one of those articles on crime, and I just wanted you to share on that tonight, sir.
Yes. Well, the articles are like food.
Excuse me, Mr. Phillips. There's a noise that's coming through. I'm not sure from where.
Right. Unfortunately, in a public space in my house.
I see.
So I'm trying to modify this.
Okay, so do you want us to come back to you a little later?
Um, Let me see. I'm just trying to modify the. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do,
Yeah, it's
because I
coming
know you
loud.
have family
Okay.
time. So let's come back to you a little later in the show. How about
Okay, you could do that.
that? Okay. Let me see if Rose is ready. Right. Good night, Rose. Good night, Rose. Let's see if she's hearing us. Good night. You're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Marcia.
Yes. Good
And
evening, Rose. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am. It's great to have you tonight. You were on the other night and you didn't get a chance to finish because you had quite a number of things you were speaking on. And so you're here tonight and you want to continue on the topic education matters.
yes,
And
please.
so go right ahead. We don't want to take any more of your time.
Yes, please. Actually, when you were calling me, I was trying to send Dave resend that file. I don't know if he has it from last week, the one on the BLP manifesto on education, so that he can pull it up when I ask if,
Yes, we're
or
going to
does he
work on
have
that
it?
for you. We're going to work
Yes,
on that
please.
for you.
Thank you. So let me go straight into the PowerPoints that I would have sent him. Here it is. Thank you, and may I extend my usual greetings to the loyal opposition, loyal sons and daughters all, firm craftsmen of our faith. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be engaged with you. I want us to look at this manifesto again. I am going to go after this time and time again until I see the fulfillment of the promises. And it is taken straight, not edited by me, straight from their manifesto, the 2018 manifesto, which I'm trying to read the screen, which was headed Building the Best Barbados Together. Two-part. Part one, our urgent agenda. Thank you, mission critical policies and actions. And these were to occur simultaneously with part two, transformational five-year agenda concerned with policy formulation and actions to implement. Could you scroll down for me to number 14, our urgent agenda mission? And number 14 thought, the promise was given of empowering our young people. Empowering our young people, we must and will preserve our future generations and empower them to have the best quality of life our country can give them. Has that been happening? You can answer that, they can answer that. An immediate plan of action is to end the current epidemic of violence in schools. This was stated in the manifesto which went out before the May 2018 elections. They would address violence and bullying among school children by placing more guidance counselors and social workers and starting anger management and conflict resolution classes in schools by 28 September 2018. September 2024 has come and gone, 6 years since that declaration.
Miss Corbin, Mrs. Corbin, can you, I was making notes there, so can you, others might want to know, so they said this, they were going to do this by what year?
I beg your pardon?
By September 2018?
This said September 2018. I've highlighted it, Marcia. That's why I'm going to browbeat them. They said it. They promised
and they were going to provide more guidance counselors, right? And what else?
Yes, Marcia, I lifted it from their manifesto.
Can you list it again? Read it for me, please.
Okay. An immediate plan of action to end the current epidemic of violence in schools, which implied that under the past administration or the administration that was in power at that time, that there was an epidemic of violence in schools. Therefore, based on that premise and that implication, what was being implied, they would address violence and bullying among school children because of that epidemic of violence in schools by placing more guidance counselors and social workers and starting anger management and conflict resolution classes in schools by September 2018. They also talked, Marcia, about doing training, and if you continue reading it, um, to reduce conflict, bullying, and in discipline, equipping students to deal with anger and conflict in nonviolent ways, and to reduce the incidence of violence in school. They also talked about a reliable school service. They also talked about placing safety officers in buses and at places where students and young people congregate in large numbers. I was
Mrs. Corbin, you're going to get back the time, but I think this is so important. This is so important.
Am I going to get back my time, Marcia?
Yes, you're going to get back your time. Everybody who's on, miss, this is key what you're doing here tonight. Everybody's on. We have over 625 persons on. I want you to take the time, and I want you to read it yourself. Bearing in mind, what time in 2018 did they come into office, Mrs. Corbin?
This would have been their manifesto delivered to the people, on which they sought to get the vote and become the new government. So this would have been sent out in the weeks prior to the May general election, which gave them 30-0, Marcia.
Wow. So I want to set this up for the people who are watching, because we are intelligent people here in Barbados, okay? I want us, I'm not even going to put any comment. We're taking up all the comments off the screen right now. I want everybody take a moment and read what is here in red, not written by Mrs. Corbin. This is what they promised us when we gave them 30-0. They told us in May that by September, okay, and this is about 6 years now that they were going to do.
Have passed. 6 years have passed. September 2024 is no more.
Wow. This is I wanted it to sink in for our people. Wow. Very interesting. Continue, Mrs. Corbin,
and
please.
Could you scroll, please, Dave, right down to the bottom where this is concluded? Go back up a bit. This was talking about at the core. Go back up. There's something where she talks about parents here. This manifesto is constructed, and I'm noticed person saying, hot air.
People wanted to zoom up some more. So Dave, can you make it a little bigger?
Yes, I can read. This manifesto is constructed on the fundamental belief that all of our children are precious, a gift to their parents, their families, and to our nations. Our nation, this manifesto speaks to ensuring appropriate education and training for our children to live happy, fulfilling lives, and our young people to be world-class citizens, grounded in Barbadian values, using their skills to showcase what Barbados has to offer right now. It's violence. Build the Barbados brand. What is that? And support themselves and benefit our country. And so it went on. And at the core of our development model, the last paragraph, scroll for me, will be the commitment our commitment to a reform of Barbados' system of education and training. While we have embarked on reforms in the past, reform in education is a generational project and cannot be started and stopped at will. And that's it, Marcia. It came from their manifesto. So let me slide quickly now, Marcia. If you don't, do you have any comments on these remarks that they would have? And let's go into education matters. And I will go through this without any elaboration, deep elaboration, if I could say that. As you know, Marcia and our audience, this month is Education Month. So I want to take the opportunity as a teacher, and I don't say a former teacher, I remain a teacher even in this seat tonight. Teachers out there, we tip our hats to you. We say respect due, although it is not being given to you from the management of education in the way that you deserve. I won't reiterate the lack of respect that you have been receiving. Could you make the screen a little bit bigger for me? I say, teachers, we tip our hats to you. We say respect you, smaller Dave. Thank you. And right there, that's fine for me. Thank you, and our support and prayers are with you from the Marcia Week Show, as well as from Barbados in general. And to know that this is Education Month, and you've been having it so hard. You've had to be looking over your backs. Thank you, and our support and prayers are with you. And for 2024 World Teachers Day, which will be on the 25th, I think I've noted, or the 26th of October. It is being celebrated through UNESCO under the international theme, Valuing Teachers' Voices Towards a New Social Contract for Education. I will come back closer to the day and speak on that. The theme highlights the importance of integrating teachers' perspectives into education policies and forging a supportive environment for their professional development. I do hope that this will be the case in Barbados, because right now we do know that many of our teachers feel intimidated, feel marginalized, and are afraid to speak out because of job security and because in some cases, let's be frank, of victimization, sometimes by their own management at the schools, and to a larger extent by the management called the Ministry of Education. Let's look at the next slide. And I have chosen to look at violence in schools based on a recent document about a year ago, and it's been updated then on the 18th of October 2023 from UNESCO. Bear in mind that we joined the UN almost immediately after our independence, when our father of independence, the late Honorable His Excellency Aaron Barrow, pronounced to the UN, "We be friends of all, satellites of none." And so we signed on in 1966. And therefore, we are members of UNESCO. And for those of you who don't know, UNESCO had its regional office in Barbados up to a few decades ago under the human leadership of Hubert Charles. I worked with him, and therefore UNESCO had a presence in Barbados, and Barbados benefited significantly from UNESCO. They're now in Jamaica. Let's look at the next slide and see what UNESCO says about violence. And what is school violence? UNESCO documents it's widespread. It occurs in all countries and affects a large number of children and adolescents. It refers to all forms of violence that takes place inside or outside of the classroom, around schools, on the way to or from schools, as well as in online and other digital environments. If those school officers, safety officers, that's what they were called or to be called, were appointed in and around the schools, and I'm making a call for those safety officers in and around schools and in the areas where large number of students congregate. I am sure that there would be a tighter grasp on forms of violence, that because the violence does not only start, originate, or happen in the school, certainly it happens outside of the classroom, around the schools, on the buses, on the streets, anywhere where school children congregate. Next one, please. School violence is primarily experienced by learners. It may be perpetrated by other learners, teachers, or others in the community. Every month, listen to the statistics, Marcia, not from me, from UNESCO. Every month, 1 in 3 learners is bullied at school globally. And I did my math with my husband, the mathematician, correcting me. And I worked out in Barbados, if there are 24 students in a class, that means we are having 8 out of those 24 being bullied per month. If there are 30 children in a class, we are having 10 being bullied per month. Multiply that, Marcia, by say 4 forms, 4 first forms, 4 second forms. There would be about 40 children per month being bullied over 4 forms. That is not a good picture. We are just working with the statistics UNESCO has given. Over 36% of learners experience a physical fight with their peers, and almost 1 in 3 has been physically attacked at least once in a year. Cyberbullying is a growing problem, affecting as many as 1 in 10 children. And whilst UNESCO acknowledges that there is the data on sexual or gender-based violence in school is difficult to collect, it does occur. So we can't rule that out. Next slide quickly. I'll go on quickly, and it takes the form physical, psychological, sexual. It could be corporal punishment. UNESCO, I'm quoting from UNESCO, sexual abuse and assault, bullying or cyberbullying, sexual comments, physical fighting, sexual violence by peers or adults, such as harmful taunting, insults, and exclusion or denial of resources. And Marcia, this in brackets comes from me based on what I heard or and read in a chat. Extortion,
Mm-hmm.
which is the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. And I am told that this mafia type of behavior exists in our schools, and that there is a well-known group led by a student who I'm told, I speak under correction, who was sent up to the government industrial school for this behavior of extortion. And I am told also that first formed students, the parents have been advised in some schools to give their children packaged lunch, and not money, so that they will not have to be at the canteen. And some schools have implemented a go 20 minutes before to the canteen for the younger children. But should that be in a school? And I am told that the management of some of these schools, the teachers at some of these schools are well aware of these extortionists, but they themselves seem to be intimidated and afraid. Let's go to the next slide. I threw in extortion. This is what's happening in our schools in Barbados. According to UNICEF, violence, the effects in all of its forms, can have severe impacts and long-lasting consequences on learners' physical and mental health, as well as their education outcomes, and in turn, their futures. And you will find some children saying, I don't want to go to school anymore. They want to stay at home. They plea some kind of physical problem, tummy ache, which might not be imagined, but could be an effect of what's happening to them at school. Bullying is associated with headaches, having trouble sleeping, depression, and thoughts of suicide, as well as risky behaviors, their education outcomes, and in turn their futures. Now let's look at the third point that follows. There is the studies, according to UNESCO, indicate that there is a higher likelihood of experiencing violence as an adult, or perpetrating violence as an adult. You can either become a victim, or you can go on to continue bullying and exerting violence on others, because it is an ingrained behavior now. It is a lifestyle. That's what you have been doing all through school unhindered. Studies have also shown a correlation between bullying, school climate, and lower test scores in standardized tests. And bullying may be one of the main drivers of lower academic performance. That is why, Marcia, I feel so strongly about it, that something must be done, and the Ministry of Education has to act beyond setting up a commission or committee. While they are sorting that commission out, I have no issue with the persons they have identified, but I do notice that esteemed criminologists in Barbados, like Bertie Hines, a senior police, retired police officer, Kim Ramsey, a former colleague of mine, Cheryl Willoughby, the director of, I can't remember the name now for it, but it is the unit, the agency that does research and look at trends and practices and preventative measure. They're not on that committee. And they must do more. They must do more than setting up a committee. While the committee is setting up and meeting and talking, there is information out there, Marcia, that can be used and used well. Let's look to see what UNESCO has done. And good evening, Granville. I'm going to hurry through this. What UNESCO has been doing. Remember, we are members of UNESCO, borrow from them. They have been applying a whole school approach to promote the active engagement of the entire education sector as a whole. It is not in primary schools, Marcia. It's not in secondary schools. We've seen it in primary schools. It is not in the lower so-called lower schools, the newer secondary schools. Violence has been pushed under the rug, occurring at some of the top schools. It is not only in the primary and secondary school, but it happens in the tertiary system too. The polytechnic, skills training, Barbados Youth Service. It is everywhere. What has UNESCO been doing? Engaging, promoting the active engagement of the entire education sector as a whole. This approach brings together complementary actions and calls for the engagement of various stakeholders, both within and outside of the school setting. And they support countries and education systems to end violence in all its forms. Why can't we borrow on the resources and the technical skills that reside within UNESCO? We borrow from everybody. We went to strangers in America to set up the colleges, the proposed colleges of excellence, getting money from them to build these college of excellence. Go to an established organization like UNESCO, see what they have, and see what we can model, we can borrow. So let's look quickly at what they offer through capacity building. And this is interesting. For example, UNESCO highlighted the key role of teachers in ending school violence and bullying, and has equipped teachers to address school-related gender-based violence in where West and Central Africa, through trainings and teacher training manuals and lesson plans. They have brought in all of their people to do conflict resolution. They have brought in all their people to talk about emotional intelligence. Those things seem not to be harvesting a change. Let's see what else can work. In 7 countries in Asia Pacific and in Eastern and Southern Africa, UNESCO has supported the development and use of a classroom-based teaching tool called Connect with Respect for learners aged 12 to 14 to prevent and respond to gender-based violence. This material out there, while the committee meets, start working more assiduously, expeditiously, and urgently on practices that have been implemented elsewhere. Could I see the next one? And I'm soon coming to an end. And Marcia, I have not heard about this one. By now, this should be promoted in Barbados. There is UNESCO member states, of which we are a member, I keep saying that, declared the first Thursday of November the International Day Against Violence and Bullying at School, including cyberbullying. Have you heard about that being
No,
announced?
no.
And it is recognizing that school-related violence in all its form is an infringement of children and adolescents' rights to education and their health and well-being. And it calls on the member states to participate with parents, learners, members of education, civil society to prevent all forms of violence and fostering safe learning environments that are important for the health, well-being, and learning of our children. What I am saying, Marcia, we could take action. Couldn't, just as we meet at the gates for prayers at the beginning of each school year, maybe some of us, like how the vendors stand outside of the school, we can stand in front of the gates with a banner calling for representing the International Day Against Violence and Bullying at School, including cyberbullying. That's my suggestion. We could
Yes.
probably do that. And the last one, I think, UNESCO hosts regular regional learning symposia on school-related gender-based violence. During COVID, I participated in an excellent course, myself, my husband, and one of my class assistants when I was doing another program. An excellent course on digital learning. And we can borrow, and maybe we at civil society, a group of civil society, may want to approach UNESCO, but most likely we'll have to go through government. I don't know how far we'll get through the Ministry of Education to find out what they have to offer and
Yes.
mobilize amongst ourselves and educate. I am not bringing to you an emotional, subjective response to violence and bullying and all the things that are happening in schools. I want us out there to be informed and go to, and one of the other things, Marcia, I am
Yes,
not
and
hearing
we have literally 1 minute because
yes,
I gave
please.
you a
I
whole
am
a
not
long
hearing
time.
diddly squat from any of our MPs. They debated every Sam Kushi and the Dapi, literally, in the lower house and in the upper house, but none of them has used the opportunity given to them to say on a point of order, I want to speak about crime in our schools and violence in our schools. On
Yes.
a point of order, may I use my time to address this as a parliamentary representative of and name their constituency and of the wider Barbadian public. None of them. And I close on that note.
Mrs. Corbin, I'm here listening to you, and especially the latter part of your presentation where you're offering solutions. I'm wondering if we should build that out for Sunday, and if you're available again, or Monday when Dr. Ferdinand is on, and then we can, instead of rushing, because I think what you've done here this evening is so very important. And because you have, first of all, you brought to us to mind of, reminded us of what was promised and what was not done, and also of what we've signed on to in terms of UNESCO. And there are things that are there. There are programs. There are initiatives that are there by UNESCO that we're just not following. So I'm going to say to you, because I see Mr. Phillips is here, and as you know, he had some challenges in the beginning, and I'm going to let him go ahead and to speak to us on the same issue of crime and violence in the society. You were dealing with it in the schools, but I would love to see you come back and let's go through slowly the latter part of the presentation in terms of what some of the initiatives that UNESCO has that we're not following. But thank you so very much.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And feel free to come back later on when we have the call in, because I know you
Thank
normally
you.
go and refresh yourself and come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, that was so really, really great, Mr. Phillips. I saw you were listening and seemed to be enjoying that presentation. Good night
Yes.
again.
Yes, good night. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Well, I was
Right.
reading your article, difficult conversations, and you had some really interesting. It was a very interesting article. You were speaking about the advisory council and just looking at the track record of what has happened over the 40 years. So let's start there, because you have seem to have done some research on the status of crime and violence in Barbados over a whole generation, over 40 years. Can we start there?
Yes. Well, from my own knowledge, because I've been around for a while, I've been hearing about this for the past 40 years. And we've been trying different things. And each time we try something, it doesn't seem to work. And at this point, we are so deep in debt, we cannot really afford to keep trying things that don't work. But how do we know that they don't work? Well, one way is by auditing them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we certainly know that they don't work because we have the evidence that is being reported. More
Mm-hmm.
shootings. But if you want to find out why are people shooting, usually that's the ISO 9001 quality management approach. You don't just look at the symptoms, you try to peel back parts of the onion to find out why. Why are people shooting? Well, they're shooting because usually they belong to gangs, and the
Mm-hmm.
gangs have access to guns. And the last information that we had was that there are about 7,000 um, illegal guns in Barbados, and that's in 2017 from a small arms survey. 7,000 illegal guns in Barbados, and that same survey identified 2,000 guns in the military and 1,675 guns in, sorry, 2,000 in the police
Police,
and
yes.
1,675 in the military.
Well,
So,
hold a minute there, Mr. Phillips. I was reading your article and I saw that in the article. So you're saying to me that there are seven, according to this
survey,
research, 7,000 guns. In that was 2017.
yes,
7,000 guns, illegal guns in Barbados. Listen, people. And between the police and the military, there are 3,675, almost a little over half of what is in the general illegal guns in the general population.
yes, I was surprised myself, but that was the survey that was done, and that's what they came up with. So it's not me guessing. It is not the police who don't really give us this information. So you can only go where the information is. And we have two sources at the moment. One, we have the small arms survey, and that seems to be credible. And then we have our own report to the Organization of American States, where that's dated back in 2008, where they report in 150 gangs, 150 gangs with 4,000 members. So it's only grown since then. So we can assume that things are
Well, you're going a little too
are
fast. Take it easy because we want to. We some of us take notes on the show. You know, this is education for us, folks. Listen carefully to what Mr. Grenville Phillips is saying. You're saying that the research back in 2017 is saying that there are 150 gangs.
no. Back in 2008, now you have to go a little further to find out when people are revealing information. And we had to reveal information to the Organization of American States. It seems that we have to
Mhm.
wait until someone asks us before we can actually start revealing this information. And then it's not revealed to the public, it's revealed to them. You have to go to their report and find out what about Barbados, right? You have to go to the Organization of American States to find out about Barbados. So our report to them was that we had 150 gangs with 4,000 members, and that was back in 2008. So things have only gotten worse. Now, why? Why are we having all of these gangs? That's the question that we must ask. Why? So why the shootings? Because of the gangs, because the gangs have the guns. And back in 2017, there were 7,000 guns, which then makes a lot of sense because any high school dropout, someone drops out in third form, suddenly that little boy can go and find a gun. He can go and rent a
Mhm.
gun. We can't find them, but these fellows, the least educated among us, can find guns. So there's a lot of guns around for rent. Right? Back then, I guess they weren't for rent, but now another means of making money is you just rent out the guns. But why? Why are people? Why are our young men? Because it's mostly young men, not so much the young women. It's mostly the young men. Why are our young men
Can I
joining
ask you, Mr.
gangs?
Phillips, can you just say exactly, because I know it's a survey that I've seen online as well. And you made mention that it is information that we've submitted to the OAS. So those
Yes.
of you, because people are saying it sounds weird, that the numbers that they sound weird. But it is a criminal's arm. Is it called the criminal arm survey? Online. Let me just get the exact name for it. But go ahead and we're going to get the exact name and put it up. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. But we have to just peel back the onion some more because if we just address these symptoms, we just won't deal with the problem. You have to find out what's the root cause. Why are our young men joining gangs? And other surveys identify that it's usually um, they don't have sufficient education. They do very poorly academically, and they
Mm-hmm.
make up really the fellows that are in the gangs. So you have to peel back the onion again. Why are they doing so poorly? Don't they attend the same secondary schools as everyone else? Yes, they do. So why are they doing so poorly? And that's where we come now to our secondary school curriculum,
Yes.
which is really designed for about the 20% of early learners, those who happen to learn the information earlier than their peers. And this goes back then to our colonial educational system, where the purpose of it was to identify 20% of the persons who will then go into the civil service. So you
Mm-hmm.
identify those bright sparks. And the others, the dullards, the ones
Yeah.
that really can't understand it, well, they are just along for the ride. And usually by third form, uh, they know that they are simply supporting actors to these 20%. Actually, when my son was bringing home his book from primary school, it actually said bright sparks. They won't even try to hide it. Bright sparks. So they're just trying to identify these 20%. And once they identify those, they teach to that level.
Mm-hmm.
They teach to that level. Therefore, all the exams are to that level. The only people that can really get 100% are those 20%. The 80% don't have a chance
Mm-hmm.
because we don't teach to that level. I just happened to be in that 80%. I was in the bottom third of my class for most of my time at Commonwealth School. So I know what I'm talking about. Um, they don't teach to my level, they taught to the bright fellows. And therefore they understood it, and the others can just hope to understand parts. And therefore you did the exam and you maybe get, 50 or so, showing that you understood about 50% of what was taught. But that's because we only teach to the 20%. And what we've done at the college, Walbrent College, is that we teach to the 80%. We try to identify the slower learner and teach to that level. And if you teach to that level, everybody will understand it.
Yes.
And we've proven that. We have 14 years of data now proving that if you teach to the bottom, the late learner, everybody benefits. And therefore, the minimum pass mark within the college is 100% because I know that you know it. I know that everyone understands it. I've taught you.
Yes.
I didn't teach anything difficult. Actually, well, it's complicated matter, it's complicated information, but I'm teaching it in a way that you understand it. And the way to do that in the secondary school is you don't have to spend any money at all. There's no money to be spent. All they need to do is rearrange the curriculum to teach the easier to learn, fun, monetizable parts of subjects before the more complicated theoretical parts. When I went to school at Commonwealth in 1975, my art teacher was Timothy Callender. And Timothy Callender taught us to make posters. That's what he did. So he taught us this is, and that's what we did. We made posters, grand dance, venue this, time this, how to. Therefore, we knew the background colors, we knew the size of the text, we knew the information, all the information that had to go on for a dance or for a fair or for whatever. We just made posters, and therefore, this is practical stuff that we can monetize. People go into the village, and someone that's going to have a dance, well, they can come to you and you go and make the thing for them. It's easy to learn, it's practical. And therefore, we should be learning conversational Spanish before all that grammar. We should be learning applied mathematics, applied chemistry, applied physics, applied biology, applied parts of the subject, which are easier to learn and fun and monetizable before you go into all the heavy theoretical stuff. And as I said, we have 14 years of data showing that it works. Some fellows come and say, well, I got 98%. I say, yes, but you still failed. And therefore, you do the exam over again. Not the same exam, a different one, just as challenging, and they get it. Because I know that they understand it. Because I'm teaching them in a way that they understand, not in a way so that I could weed out the dullards and identify the bright sparks and just teach to that level.
So Mr. Phillips, you are putting this increase in gun violence squarely at our education system.
Because we peel back the onion and identify that it's poor academic performance that these fellows then graduate or leave school, don't think they have anything to do. Their parents may say, look, you got to try and start making money. They have no academic certificates. They maybe have a child there, and therefore you need to get Pampers. They need money. When they leave school, they want money. If they have sufficient funds and they go to university, all right, they're investing. But if not, and if they're leaving at third and fourth and fifth form, no certificates, they need money. And therefore, we need to make sure that they understand the work so that they can leave school with some certificates and find a job. So the root cause is the curriculum that teachers are forced to teach. And all I'm saying is rearrange it so that the students then can understand it, be confident that they do understand it, because that's all they need. They just want to know that they understand it. They need to understand it, not guess at it and hope when the exam comes or hope that this is right, because they don't understand it. They must know it so that when the exam comes, it's as if someone is asking them, what is your name? Say, oh, that's a question. All right, I'll write it down. How much is 2 + 2? That's it. That's not difficult at all. That's how our teaching should be, so that they understand it. And if you understand it, then testing them is easy because they're not nervous at all, because they know it.
They know
But
it. No,
now, the way
it
that we
sounds
teach is
very plausible. It makes a lot of sense to me.
14
I'm
years of
listening
data.
to it as a student. I'm remembering as a student. And I think it would have benefited me. But let me ask you, I think you have, this is something that you have done. You said you have tried this before. You've tried this technique before, have you?
Yes, because I've been offering it. I've been writing for 20 years, 25 years on this.
So
For
you've been
25 years,
writing,
I've
but I
been,
wanted to know if you have practiced it. Have you taught any
yes,
students with this method?
yes.
Tell us about
So
that, please.
yes, so I've taught since 2010 when we founded the college, Walbrent College. We teach all
What's
over the
it called?
Caribbean. Walbrent, Walbrent, Walbrent College.
Okay.
So I started it in 2010. And most of the people that come to the college don't have many certificates. And we even teach those incarcerated, because I'm a volunteer teacher there, and we teach them. We don't charge them anything. And so a lot of those, left school at third form, and no certificates. Actually, we taught this older fellow, I think he's about 60, and his sister came almost with tears in her eyes, just saying thank you, because this is his first certificate, first academic certificate. So we allow anyone in, no qualification criteria. You just come, because I know that you can be taught. I know that you can be taught, and so it's proven this thing works. So for the secondary school, just change the curriculum. So that deals with that. That turns off the tap, because we are flooded. We are flooded out. People are drowned in this flood. And therefore, the first thing that needs to be done is not to try and bail water, because where are you going to bail it? The whole place is flooded. You take a bucket of water and then dump it back in the stream. No, we are all flooded out. So someone needs to go to the head of the spring and turn off the tap. And turning off the tap is stopping the influx of people into the gangs by changing the way we teach. That's it. It doesn't cost the ministry anything at all. They just have to modify,
Well, I mean, they might have to do some
rearrange.
training, though, Granville. They might
No, they
have to
don't.
do some
No, they
training.
don't.
You
No
don't think so?
training.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think they just need to teach the easier parts first. Now, all right, there may be some training in terms of they don't actually teach conversational Spanish. So they need to start teaching conversational Spanish. Go to the Venezuelan Institute and get some guidance, because they teach it, right? So teach conversational, or basically, just teach the way that you teach children, especially those that went to Ernestine College. They should know some of this. So again, once you rearrange your curriculum so that you teach the easier to learn, fun parts of the subject, practical parts of the subject that the student can just go ahead and just try at home. You can't try the theory at home, right? So go back to some of the innovative teachers that we had, like Timothy Canada. He actually wrote a book. So go back to some of those fellows and learn from them, right? Don't dismiss them, learn from them. See how they did it. And there are enough students of theirs like myself that can say, well, this is how we learned that, right? So once that is dealt with, the next thing is, how do we stop the shootings now? What do we do now? Let's start bailing the water. Let's start dealing with the flooded area. And the way we do that is, there are so many organizations that are claiming to be addressing the youth problem, right? The problems with our youth. The problem is that they keep getting funding from the government, but they're not being audited. It's time to audit them and find out, is this thing useful or not? If it's not useful, stop wasting the money. We need to find out what national program can we have that everybody can use. And again, that we have as well. So since I won the 2014, I'm the National Innovation Competition winner of that year. And then I never had it again. So I'm the current winner of the National Innovation Competition. And I teach people to do various things. So the idea is, let us set some criteria, high criteria, and give everybody who wants to get money from the government um, to help the at-risk youth. Tell them, fine, if you want more money, then meet these standards. So what standards should they be? All right, we know that there's a difficulty in CXC math and English, especially math. You got 3 months to bring students that you have, your at-risk youth, to a position where they can pass CXC English and CXC math. Right. And if you say, well, I can't do that, well, why are you wasting the public's money? Right? We need you to take, so we want to everybody who is, or every organization who has a training program for at-risk youth should take 10 persons who are at risk, who do not have any academic certificates, who generally occupy the bottom third of the class at secondary school, who never represented their school at anything, who were not sports persons, who are unemployed and were unemployed from the time they left school. They may also be persons who are incarcerated and they're out now because the prison has asked for mentors for these who are coming out. So everybody should take 10 persons, and you have 3 months to get them to play a musical instrument competently, to sing well, to get employed. Are you still there? Yes, I think well, I'm still here. But, oh, yes. So to get employed, to set some performance criteria and then give them 3 months. So by Christmas, we will have this thing solved. By Christmas, we will have a solution which can go national. So everybody who is, I'm not trying to take bread out of people's mouth. So I know the supporters will, must get their monies. So just stop what you're teaching because it's failing, and let's try to identify a national program that works.
Yes.
And maybe
Someone is asking, because what you're saying to me is very interesting. Someone is asking, what about the CVQ, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, which begins at the secondary level and continues at tertiary, as for example, the polytechnic and hospitality, that is also hands-on and so on. Somebody's asking, what about that?
Yes, we can do all that as well. We could do so much things. That could be a component of it. But I don't like this idea of, and I've heard it, but from so many teachers, you're not academically inclined, and therefore we have to let you work with your hands.
Yes.
Rubbish. Everybody is academically inclined. It's just that we are teaching in this colonial method where we identify the early learners and we teach to them, and therefore we think that the remainder are not academically inclined. They are, and we've proven it because they come to us after being damaged by the educational system, the secondary school, and they are able to get 100% of challenging material that if they came in initially, they would probably get 0. And if you brought in professionals, they will probably not make more than 10 out of 100. 10%. That's the most they will get, because this is important. This is not easy information. It's basically how to build a house from foundation to the roof without having to ask anybody any questions. Ask all the homeowners out there, except they were contractors or engineers. How can you get that done? They will not know. They will not have a clue. But we teach them how to mix concrete, the percentages of cement, sand, and stone, technical things but it requires them to calculate these things.
Yes.
And they're able to get it 100% right. They're able to get it 100% right. So we know it works. We just have to use this method. But as I said, I've been trying for the past 25 years to get the ministry to change their ways, and they're not changing. So
Is
that
this
is,
something that you have formally presented to the Ministry of Education?
I talked to people there, and I've written on it, and it's been published in the Nation when they used to publish my articles. They've stopped doing that basically after I entered politics. Even though I'm no longer in elected politics, they rarely publish anything I write. I write, like every week or every 2 weeks, but they may publish maybe something once a year of what I write, or none. It's quite remarkable.
Yeah. Well, I in your difficult conversation article, which again I think it's so well written always, you mentioned about the advisory council, and your view is that you are not very expectant about what they're going to come back with, because under whichever administration they've always had these kinds of councils. This is my understanding from what you've written, and it's been over a 40-year period. All of those ideas have failed, but you're believing that you're not expecting much more from this advisory council. Why is that?
Yes. Well, it's just the historical trend.
Mm,
So if you look at the historical trend, it's been nothing but failure. So we can only expect that they're going to recommend the same ideas that haven't worked. And I expect the same thing, unfortunately, from what the DLP are doing. They're going around the place asking, people, how to address this matter. They're going to come up with basically similar things as the advisory council.
but
They're
but
both
but
going to
do
come up
you
with
think that,
things.
I mean, in the advisory council and the DLP, their crime, I can't remember the exact name for it now, but they might come up with something similar to what you have here.
Unlikely, unlikely.
Really?
Because
You think so?
if it has been, both parties have been exposed to this advice.
Mm-hmm.
Both parties have rejected it. When
Mm-hmm.
they were in power, both parties were recipients of this advice, and both parties, when they were in power, rejected it. I have
Mm-hmm.
no doubt, however, that maybe a party in opposition will say, yes, we will do that. But when they get in, they never do.
Mm.
That's just my experience. They will
Why do you
say
think
what
that? Why do you
you want
think
to
that
hear.
so you're basically saying that the advisory council, you are not holding your breath, because historically, what has come forward as solutions, they have not worked. So once again, you're thinking that this is going to be a failure. So what's the point?
Well, when I was at university, um, the professor would explain, listen, we are going into a field where we can be influential, and what the politicians want are ideas. They just
Mm-hmm.
want ideas. And therefore, your responsibility is to give them those ideas. And I've tried to do that. Since I graduated, I've tried my best to give them ideas. And they said, I write, I used to write articles in the paper. I had my column. I write, after that I then wrote letters to the editor, and they were published again up to 2015. They were published. Everyone basically was published, but then it was just cut off because you just can't go against the parties, or the parties, only one party really. So, but they just, even though you gave them ideas, for some reason in Barbados, yeah, it's maybe a prophet, in his own country. Maybe that's it. I have no idea. I was president of the Barbados Association of Professional Engineers, just given more ideas. I've tried all different ways before going into politics, just given ideas and good ideas. And they don't come back and say, well, let's discuss that idea. No, they just say, all right, thank you, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Just not 30 years now. This is 30 years. Imagine that. 30 years of my life, just giving them my best advice. I don't give terrible advice. I give my best. I think it through. I look at, all right, what can happen here, and I foresee, all right, it's not going to turn out well. I reject. I myself say, all right, I'm going to modify that advice, and I go over it and over it until I come up with something that I think will have very low risk, and I offer it. And yeah, they just, for some reason,
what
I
I'm
don't
wondering
understand
is
it.
whether you need to offer it, because you have not yet offered it formally. And I'm wondering about that
But
because
yes,
it's something that
yes,
must
yes.
be put together and offered formally. So you've done articles, and it's good that you have actually, practiced it. But I've heard you speak on this before. So I'm wondering if you should offer it formally.
Yes, it was formal when I was in that capacity. When I was president of the Barbados Association of Professional Engineers, the advice was given formally. I had about 3 terms as president. When I was president of the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries, I gave it all formally. They were full reports. These reports, I mean, this report that the first one we did, that was worth, when I calculated the amount of time that the presidents of the various organizations gave, it came out to about $500,000 Barbados dollars. That's the value of those reports that we gave to the government. $500,000 Barbados dollars that the government got for free. Why? Because we just wanted, we're all in the same Barbados. We can't have you over in this corner, someone else over in this corner. We all in the same boat. And when the boat goes down, we all go down with it. It's in everyone's interest to want Barbados to succeed, and therefore to want the government in power to succeed. But yeah, for some reason, both parties just don't take advice. As I said, I got 30 years now, 30 years, and offering it formally and informally on
Yeah.
letterheads, everything, but just full reports, formal reports, so you had to go through the permanent secretary
Well,
to
you
get
know
it to
what?
the prime minister.
Take it to the people. This is the last comment that I make tonight.
Well,
There it says the power of the people is greater than the people in power. So, I say to you, this idea that you have and all other ideas and take them to the people.
right, and that's what we did then in 2015. Started Solutions Barbados and took it to the people, wrote it in the manifesto. All the advice is there. What I'm telling you now is there, right? What I'm telling you now is in our manifesto as our recommendations for the educational system in Barbados. All that's there. So we took it to the people. We explained to the people. We said, finally, if you wish, you can get out of this BD party. And we address corruption, we will address all these things, and the people said no, we want poverty, because I offered them prosperity, and I showed them how they could be prosperous. We took our ideas, our financial plan, to a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Barbados, and he said that our assumptions in coming up with our plan, where we would make a $1 billion Barbados dollars in our first year, $1 billion surplus in our first year, without going to the IMF, without laying off any public servants, while abolishing land tax. So we're doing these things, and he says that our assumptions in coming up with this $1 billion surplus are ultra conservative, which means that we will make even more than a billion. This billion with a B. But yet, when I asked Dr. Greenidge, the current governor of the central bank, I said, did you even look at our plan before recommending that we go to the IMF? He said, no. I said, all right, now
Wow.
that you've gone to the IMF, will you actually look at our plan, to bring relief to the people of Barbados and stop all this harm? He said, no, they will not look at it. So that's it. Even though you form a political party, you get 28 candidates, you run in an election to try to do it yourself, since they won't listen, since offering all this advice. And then 3 times we offered ourselves, 3 times. And each time the Barbadian public said, we prefer B's D's. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So fine, as I said,
Well,
why waste my time? I'm out of elected politics. Done with it.
yeah. Well, you can take it. I think, what we're finding is that, there can be change without necessarily running for politics. That's something we can talk about another time. As we
Yes.
say, you can continue to educate the people, because the power is in the people. And the more the people recognize that and begin to, walk into that, then we might be able to see some change. But great discussion tonight with you, as
Yes.
usual. And this is a space, I want you to know that we welcome you in this space. We
Yes.
welcome you to share your ideas. And this is another space you can use to get your ideas to the people, Mr. Phillips. It's a pleasure having you
Thank
here
you.
tonight.
I appreciate that. Yes,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Wow, quite interesting. I saw you there, Mr. Millington, and you were tuning in and listening and commenting on some of the concepts that Mr. Phillips, was sharing with us about the school system. And you had some thoughts of your own. You are in the diaspora, but you are part of the school system as well. I saw you were making a comment there about how we teach and how we treat people within the school system. Do you want to expand on that a little bit before we go into your topic?
Well, first night, good night to you and,
Good
and,
night.
and all in Barbados and diaspora. What I will just say is, having done a lot of research, both like not only in school but from the elders and stuff, what has to happen that Barbados does not want to admit is that because of taking over a colonial system of teaching,
Yes.
where elitism and classism was the order of the day. Because don't forget, Barbados just the other day came out of a situation where hundreds of thousands of people were not even able to afford to get to school. Where I am going with this is that the way of teaching where teachers of themselves don't feel like they are doing themselves a disservice or holding back the class because a percentage of the class seem not to be getting it. That
Mm-hmm.
too is almost like to put it, how do I, like how if you going to school didn't have slippers, but your children have all types of tools that they can, they don't even wear because they just don't know which ones to wear now because they have so much. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, well, it can't be the modern teachers of today because they had a lot of privileges when they were young. But sometimes the psyche of that is that nobody didn't wait for me at school, so why you gotta wait for you? Or so the teachers may not say that, but you don't have to say it. But your countenance and your manner and how you relate to children and stuff. And sometimes teachers themselves can be bullies. And why I say that is that sometimes some teachers, not all, because most teachers I know are very caring and like very interested in seeing children learn. But there are some teachers who are very irresponsible and nudge on the children to like make sport at the ones that are slow. And what you find is that people like that, or children that are made a mockery of, usually turn out to be some of the most vile and violent ones because, okay, picture a child at home, it passed for school that the parent probably didn't expect it to go to, or and then they're in a home with other children that might have had really great grades on the 11 plus. Not that this really means anything as it relates to a person's future in life. And then they come to the school, and then you would think that a person, meaning a teacher, would have patience enough to not leave that child behind.
Yeah.
The child has already come from an environment at primary school where it was left behind. I mean, people talk about Medea, but sometimes when you hear him talk about that, his story of, I think it was his mother or his grandmother, whoever it was, but he always talks about the person that would hold his hand and help him cross over. When you cannot, when as a teaching system, because it's not just a teacher or a tool, a teaching system cannot talk and say, you know what, I need to hold the hands of X% of my primary school class that is not getting it. And whatever it be that I need to do to ensure that they understand, I will have to do it. When more teachers can have that psyche, and it's not about lack of training, anybody could go to Erdison and you do a few exams and you do teacher plans and stuff like that, and both you into school. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the inner heart of teaching, where teachers can say, you know what, if I don't make a way for this child or these children, they are going to be the ones that are going to come to rob me, endanger other people's lives. When more teachers can have that kind of mentality from preschool to primary school, then you would see a different heart of a child coming into the secondary school. Because this, I can't wait for him concept nurtured in the primary school. Children start to feel like they are a problem. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I already know that they're not going to wait for me, so they're going to wait for me. They may not say it like that, but they say it in their gesture and their manner, and sometimes you see
Mm-hmm.
them very slumped over. Because you see, you have to. A lot of what the Minister of Education pretends not to be doing is hiring child psychologists and um, people that really can understand the behavioral psychology of children. I mean, you have all these people coming out at the university and what are they doing there? It cannot be that because BLP and DLP and stuff is in. I am going to use this person or this expertise. Expertise is for a country. It's not about who. But I mean, there's another topic for another
Yeah.
day. But um,
But to keep it on the schools, because what you're saying is so important. And I remember today you sent me something, and one of the reasons I asked you to come on, and you were very, very upset about it. And having to do with the schools as well. We've seen over the last week where there have been four or week and a couple of days, four schools that have been exposed to violence. We saw at Alexandra School where somebody was stabbed. Then we saw Graydon Sealy School. We saw the incident there at St. Catherine's School. Then Dighton Griffith, when they said that someone had a sharp object. Turned out it was a big hell of a cutlass
right,
a child had inside the school. We are grateful for that one student who it was reported that the student was able to talk to the student who had the cutlass as a weapon and talk them out of not
yes,
using it.
clear.
So we
Yeah.
want to be grateful for that. But then there was something in the newspaper today, Barbados Today, that got you very upset. And it's where there was one particular um, organization that works inside the school, Roger Husbands. It seems it is being said that it was his organization that's
Right.
saying that the army should be brought into the schools to deal with the violence. And those
Let
of
me
you who are
respond to that.
watching, you don't know who this is. This is Abram Millington, and Abram is a Barbadian living overseas and was part of the police force. Okay, so I just want to establish that. So go right ahead, Abraham, and share your thoughts.
Well, what has to be established first of all is that a psychologist, psychology and psychiatry, which is two different things. But a psychologist really, that is like behaving like a certain person, where the opposition leader had to really correct the individual for stepping up their boundaries as it relates to telling the public about TINT. So what I'm trying to say is that a psychologist has no boundary as it relates to trying to demand that the army should really be, to put it in my words, not that was said, to release the army into the schools. What the school and the ministry, or I should say, what the ministry and government on a whole has to understand is that if you don't address violence and the behavior of primary school children, that behavior unchecked in primary school is going to run itself into secondary school. So the answer is
Mhm.
not this. The answer is not this heavy-handed approach, because what I more think is happening here I don't know who this guy is. I don't really know his background. I've not really done the research on him or whatever the case is. But his narratives almost are like Socratically um, messing with dictatorship alignment. I don't know if he is being trained in that school. You see, because that school it does not really seek to solve problems. All problems are solved with force. When you see when you if you look at all countries that are supposedly dictatorships, I'm not talking about the IQ or the intellect or whatever the case is. I'm talking
Yes.
about the way that they solve problems. It is always macro and heavy-handed. It is not.
Mhm.
They don't care for dialogue. They don't really care for a lot of like solving problems as it relates to that situation. So come on, we have as some person said, we have nations with a similar population to us that you hardly see any crime. Look at Japan and other places. Um, the Japan may have a lot of people, yes, but
So let me ask you the question straight up. Why do you think Sharon Innes is saying that the army in schools is a bad idea? I would like for you to itemize why.
well,
And those who are listening, those of you who are listening, those of viewers, can you write in the comment section why do you think it is bad? Somebody wrote on Facebook and said, well, they would not recommend these professionals would not recommend the army if it wasn't that bad. They're saying that the situation in the school is really bad. I mean, we just had a young man who picked up a cutlass, supposing he went wild and started to chop up people's children inside the school. um it shouldn't the army, some people will agree and said the army, they need to release the army in the schools to bring order. What about that?
already you can see, and I'm not making any excuses for this. Already you can see behind the scenes an incremental, because they're not doing it like outright, an incremental way of normalizing army first, police probably as what do they sometimes call it, the government term. It was more what's the word I'm trying to find? Um, not decorative. The word I'm trying to find, not decorative, but in other words, you can't have the police as just ornament.
Okay.
Anybody that doesn't understand what the role of an army does or who a soldier is, soldiers are not trained really. Soldiers are not trained to be in military skills as a police officer would, and that has to be established outright. I'm not saying that all soldiers are insensitive. It's not trying to say that a soldier is bad versus a police. The training that a soldier goes through is not in keeping with what school maintenance should be. If the school of itself was in an uproar to such a way with national security or something like that, and even then the police can
Mhm.
manage that. Even then the police can manage that. So are you saying that the police force now is now inept? What is that
Mm.
saying? What is that saying about the police force? Is this some sort of suggestion by macro authorities thing behind the scenes to try to nudge this situation? Because if they get away now with sending the army there, they will get away with sending the army this place and the other place and the other place. Then when you have inverted commas, the police state, the whole
A
country now
police state.
be under.
Actually, somebody is saying here that Marinette is saying it's an awful idea. Mental and physical intimidation in any form does not solve these problems.
Not at all.
Um,
You
mm,
see, because when you have behind the scenes, and I'm not blaming anybody, but you can look, you can tell what is behind the scenes. I always tell, I always speak of these two theories: syllogistic reasoning as well as Socratic. You can tell from behind the scenes what is brewing in the pot. In other words, if there are sending forward, if they're you are not hearing them suggesting community policing, where police would go in the community, engage the children in the schools. Because when children can see a police officer or police officers as persons that can really come to their rescue or give them advice and stuff, there's no need for the army at that level in a school. No
mhm,
need whatsoever. And see, no prime minister or president can tell me in a place that is supposed to be upholding democracy as opposed to dictatorship. Why don't see America is far bigger than us. England is far bigger than us. I don't see the president of America or Prime Minister of England telling the army. You know what? There's a disruption at the school. I'm sending the army over there. You know,
Right. So you,
it's
you think that you basically think you start to do that, you're developing a dictatorship, a police state.
of
You think
course
it's heavy-handed,
very much so.
even though the child is there with a cutlass.
What I'm trying to say is that the police force or the whole ambit of policing can manage that.
You can
So you
manage
understand,
it.
the
Yes.
same cutlass that the same cutlass that the police would have to address is the same cutlass that is not going to be a bigger cutlass or a smaller cutlass when the army gets there. So
Mm-hmm.
the same gun and knife. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying that the situation is not getting bad. It is, but it is okay in policing, as you may know. I mean, there's levels of uh, of dealing with things. You don't just go shooting. You would have a baton, you may have a taser. So what I'm trying to say is that the army is not one that is needed for a situation in the school. That is too heavy-handed and too radical.
Too heavy-handed. Understood. Patrick Designs is saying the army is to deal with foreign powers or matters outside of the police. Police is to deal with local matters. Bringing the army is a sign of authoritarianism and a police
Understand?
state.
Of course.
Coraline Cadogan said boot camp is not for children.
No.
Somebody says here the army is not for the school or the police. There are children in the school. Okay, I don't understand the last part there. Um, Kamar said that they will be doing what we're doing in the US, preparing a lucrative pipeline for jail. Nonsense.
Indeed.
Putting the army in school is diabolical. So
I
people are generally, somebody, Queen Bee said that the soldiers are trained to kill.
most
And
definitely.
this we have to note is coming from someone. It is alleged based on what the newspaper is saying. From Roger Husbands, who deals with uh, children who are or young people who are involved in crime. He runs an organization called Drug Education and Counseling Services. And it'll be interesting to find out why he would be so, why, if it's that he really said, according to the newspaper, that's what he said. Why he would, it would be interesting to know what does he know that we don't know.
Well, whether he may know more than we know, I am saying I don't care how severe he may think X and Y is. And if a school has got that bad, you are telling me that teachers are so afraid from both primary level and secondary level to speak out on, and that their lives are that so oppressed now that you need the army. But in that case, what they need to start doing is identifying children or persons who are disruptive to that level that comes to threaten their lives, and let the same parents teach them. No, I'm so serious because teachers in Barbados, I'm not calling any names, but too
Mhm.
many teachers in Barbados, I know several of them have been for as well. I'm talking not only as a police officer. I did both the criminology and law and society, switched into law and society, and it's not really a popular. It's not nobody don't really hear about law and society much in Barbados. They hear about criminology, but so I was doing research on this. This is for years now, even like 2010 and up to now. And a lot of teachers in Barbados are actually very afraid to speak out because I can start calling names of schools, but I wouldn't do it because I don't want to marginalize or make people think lesser or anything like that in their schools. But I know of schools, many of them, so I can call them. Right now, I've been around Barbados and I can map almost every school or majority of the schools, not only in terms of the security levels that I see happening there, the infrastructure and the loopholes to proper management, all those things you can see. I am going to purposely speak about Harrison College. Why? Because it's exemplary. You go to Harrison College, you can't just walk in like that. I mean, you see a guard at the gate, and I can be speaking on the correction. I think that they have probably 24-hour security. They may not have the best of sports facility in terms of sports um, storage, but at least they have something that is working. Now you have a school, Harrison College, even its courts and stuff. You can see an effort as it relates to the maintain of um you know the geography of the place. So, landscaping and stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. So, broken windows theory is something that I wouldn't really want to go into it because everybody may not understand. It just seems in simple form. It just means if you see one glass broken, you're not going to wait to see. You're not going to not fix that one window and let the whole place go to ruin. So what I'm trying to say is that in the primary levels across all schools, teachers should not be cordoned into a corner at no time. Is this a Barbados? Because the schools are a subset of the community. If we allow in each part certain roads that also I can't pass down there, because if I pass down there, somebody may unless and if in each school, unless in each parish, places that are starting to feel unsafe start to grow and grow and grow. People can stay home and people can stay in their houses all night, all day. You understand that? You understand that if you allow lawlessness to just grow rampant,
Correct.
that it
And this is
grow.
one of the reasons why we do the solemn walk, because you cannot give over any inch of Barbados to lawlessness. We should be able to walk in any community in Barbados. We're too small. That is my belief about it. We should not give out any part of Barbados. It's so important. I mean, there was another issue that I wanted us to touch on, but we're going to hold off on that one because of time and people. We need people to call in. I know that there's an issue with some water bills and so on, and there's some people who they need to. We're going to ask them to call in as well. Yes, go ahead. You were saying something.
I had a call even today, and it shocked me. The person was went from $80 something to $3 something, and it was like, what is going on in Barbados? And
Yes.
what really hurts my heart is that somebody, I'm not telling you who the person is, somebody engaged my page some days ago, telling me all sorts of nonsense about you supported X party, you supported Y party. Listen to me. People in Barbados can support 99 parties as far as I'm concerned. It is who in the now. You hear the word in the now is really relevant for the country. You how could Barbados on the ground be suffering and people can't even pay water bills and stuff like that, and you have a gift of gab, because that's what I call it, gift of gab leader uh, living her best life. It may sound harsh, living her best life, with known and probably self wealth all over the world. This Barbados cannot wake up.
Yeah, but someone wrote to me today, and it actually, I was getting these letters from early this week, but we were dealing with the stuff in the schools, and I just want to read this letter, and I know Dave has some. He has some water bills that we're going to put up on the screen. I've gotten permission to do it, and there's somebody who is going to call in to talk to us about those water bills. So listen carefully, guys, because a lot of you might be noticing that you're getting high water bills. And I would hate that this is happening to people in St. Lucie and St. John and those places where they sometimes barely get any water, or they get water, it is tinted or just stink. I mean, to hear that the water is stink, they don't want to bathe in it. Okay, but believe it or not, people are getting these high water bills, and this is a letter that was written to the customer experience manager, Barbados Water Authority, and their account numbers right there, Miss. The 4 bills dated from May 2024 to August 2024 are attached. The bills from June to August do not show current readings. I read my meter on September 14, 2024. The photo on the reading is attached. The reading is 1492. So this person did their own reading. The quantity of water used between the May 2024 and August 2024 readings was calculated as 1494 minus 1437, which is 55 M3 is at meters cube, right? I'm not a good math. Meters cube. For the month billings for the outstanding months and the money paid for these months are shown in the attached below. And it goes on June 18, and it tells you how much, $91.35, and then $80 in July 18. And so his bill has generally been, listen carefully, $91.35, $80 in July, August, $94, right? Right? However, what has been happening is that he is getting bills for $590. So imagine.
Where are the MPs that where are the ministers of parliament in
So
that?
they did not read his meter for 3 months, right? And for those 3 months, each month, they were charging him $590 for each month. And he calculated and said, no, that's not what I normally pay. My bill is around $91, $80, $94, right? No. They are charging him $590 for each month. And because what they're doing now, it's what is called an estimated bill. Right? Estimated bill. That's what they are doing. And so we're asking people to check your bill. Yes, you were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So in other words, it's not actual. What I really think, right? And people can think that I'm here talking about politics. But guess what? Who represents you? It's like your children at home when they were children. Anybody interfere them? Who are they going to come to? The person next door?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that in each parish, people start to tell the minister, their minister, MPs, these bills and show them. Is the MP going to help them pay those bills? People got to really understand that the power of the people is just what it is, the power of the people. And if a collective of people are being taken advantage of, they have to do something about it, and instead of not just staying dumb or staying quiet because you want to be a good boy or a good girl. That good boy, good girl stuff doesn't get anything happening in the country. It's almost like a child standing up in an ant's nest. Picture a little girl standing up in an ant's nest, and the ant tearing holes in this little girl's feet, and in her innocence, they don't know how to move, and somebody has to move the child. You know why? Because the child doesn't know it's in the ant's nest. But bathers, many of them have degrees, and they may have a few CXCs, and even if they don't have CXCs, they can read and write. And I don't think whether BLP, DLP, NDP, or PEP should be going through this kind of thing, and everybody having their hands clasped and eyes closed, and saying, okay, the Mobby tastes good. No, we gotta stop with this. Something has to change.
Yeah.
Something definitely has to change.
I'm here waiting because I want to deal with this here. Okay, somebody's saying that they have their bottled water, and where anybody remember where the bottled water is supposed to drop off? I'm doing school. Who remembers where we're to take the bottled water tomorrow? Who remembers where we have to take the bottled water tomorrow? The bottled water is to go to George Street Auditorium for 10 o'clock. George Street Auditorium for 10 o'clock. That's the water project, okay? So George Street Auditorium. All right, that's where it goes. Okay, I'm not getting the other person we supposed George Street. So I know by God's grace I will be down at George Street tomorrow morning, and I am going to be helping to fill the bottles, and I'm one person. I believe in practicing what I preach, right? I believe in that. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the people in St. Lucie, they don't have water, and this is happening. You know, people are shooting each other in Chapman Lane, and I do nothing about it. I refuse to be a hypocrite.
Marcia.
And I find that a lot of us, we come on here and we love to type away. We love to comment, and a lot of us will never lift a finger. Will never lift a finger to do anything. The education system is in a mess, and you have time on your hands, and there are children who can't read, and you won't even volunteer. I'm talking to you now, everybody who is on. We talk about the people. We say what? The power, the people power is greater than the people. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. But how is that going to be if you don't get up and flex your muscle and burn some sweat and do something? Get up and do something. A lot of you can do something. Ask yourself, what have you done to alleviate any of the situations in Barbados except to complain? And a lot of you will look and you will say, oh, well, that's it. Oh, they only had that amount of people going to do the water. Well, you were not part of it. I'm talking to you straight tonight. Let's see, we have the caller calling. Good night, caller.
Yes, good night. I want to comment on the education teachers business that we already discussed earlier.
1 second. Can you hear her? Can you hear her? Rose and Abram Millington. Can you hear
Not
the caller?
not as pronounced as he could be.
Okay, can you speak up a little louder for us? Good night.
Yes, good night all. I would like to comment on the education and teachers being blamed for the youth and the behavior.
Okay, you're commenting that the teachers are being blamed. Go right ahead, ma'am.
Yes, the former teacher.
Yes.
I know some of the blame lies with few teachers, but the majority of teachers are dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a class 4 teacher for I don't remember how many years, but for a long time. And I used to render my services to students in class 4
Yes.
for free on evenings, 2 evenings a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you would be surprised to see the children who would stay for those lessons. They would be children whose parents are often there to see that they get to school on time, they have the books and so on. But the other children will refuse to come.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I find that parenting is a lot to do with it. Because if your parents are not keen about education, they are going to send you down the wrong way. Because they even make comments in front of the children about teachers, and they come back and they tell the teachers what their parents said.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big, big problem. You only see some parents, especially the ones that have children that are very deviant, turning up at the school when they want to fuss and carry on.
Yes.
But if you send messages to them, they don't come. Some of them give you wrong numbers and you can't reach them. So the parenting has a lot to do with it. Also, society have parents who are absentee parents who
Mm-hmm.
leave the country and go overseas and leave their children with grandparents who can barely manage to walk.
Yes.
So how are these children going to listen to grandparents who don't have the energy to run both behind them? That is one of the main problems. The absentee parenting will be and going to leave these children with grandparents who can't really deal with them.
Yes. Yes.
Also, I find too that if I know that Mr. Phillips said something about teachers who want to put the children ahead and don't want to say that the kids and don't want to help the ones who are weak.
Yeah.
Sometimes children come with the capacity not to be academically inclined. And there's no provision for those students, even if they have remedial classes
Yes.
for teaching. It is not equipped. It is not fully equipped. You go to American school and you got remedial classes, you have
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes I don't need to go to sleep at 4 o'clock, sometimes I don't need to sleep at all.
Oh my God. Preparing.
Yeah. And then you go to class for students and you try to correct and all that. You were even advised by the DOT not to bring home books and correct. But if you don't bring home the books and correct, how are you going to get the work done?
Hmm.
You
Yes.
have to make sacrifices. And I would like teachers who came from the older grammar schools, most of them are guilty. They have to realize that their children operate at this level. And because you were able to do so, it does not mean that because everybody you have in front of you is going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
in my teaching, I would always say I'm not moving, especially in teaching now. It makes no sense moving on to another concept if you still don't have the one that needs to. Because it's spiral teaching, and
Yes.
if you get the small part, then you can't get to the wider part of teaching, especially in math.
Yes. Yes. Well,
A lot of teachers can't even handle the math that the children are doing.
yes. Yes. Let me ask everybody: are you hearing her clearly?
No, her voice is not audible in this not at all. So you might be hearing her, but we are not hearing her.
You're not hearing her. Okay.
No, it's not as audible
All
as it
right.
ought
So
to
we're
be.
having a problem. But I mean, I will repeat the points that she's making. But thank you so much, caller, for calling. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Marcia,
Yes. Go ahead.
what I think that is happening that needs to stop as it relates to everybody's focusing on class fours and class. I'm not saying that the caller was wrong or anything that she's very her efforts are commendable, but I'm talking about on the wider scale. I had a relative who used to try to help children in learning to read and stuff and write and whatever it be. And when you realize that a child at 6 and 7 can hardly still form letters and they don't know some verb agreements and the basic things even at between 8 going 9. It's not going to magically come to being at age 11. So I think what on a macro scale government has to do is put a lot more attention on ages 4 to 9 because you see at age 10 to 11 is a time where those fundamentals of even expression and whatever it be could have been, well, if not mastered, that they could actually be able to hold their own. But but class 4 and class 3 teachers are not miracle workers. When a child has not grasped a lot of fundamentals between the ages of 4 and 5 to 9, probably 9 going 10, what do you expect a class 4 teacher to do? What do you expect a first form teacher to do? So the ministry has to start and understand that this whole panic button, because they call it a panic button as far as I'm concerned, putting class 3 and 4 and perform teachers under undue stress, and they are actually being very unrealistic. You have more like I don't know what the numbers are. Can anybody tell me how many trained early childhood education teachers? I'm talking about at an international standard are there in Barbados? Does anybody know that? So
I
what
don't know. I don't know. You have the numbers?
No, what I'm trying to say is that these things ought to be known. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying at some course that somebody said is that you're going to work at a accounting firm and your manager did a workshop in accounting where you have the degree. What kind of how would you what measure of confidence you would have in that supervisor? So what I'm trying to say is that there needs the Ministry of Education, if you have so much gift, not only gift of gab, if you have so much cultural capital and you have a mass, so much cultural capital to say you know X and Y, and you can have anybody on your speed dial.
Hmm.
Why don't you speed dial
One
and
second there,
right,
Abraham, and
right.
just give me a moment. There is someone, a caller is on the line. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Just speak up. Just speak up as loud as you can. I'm not sure why it seems a little muffled tonight. Go ahead.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear him, Abraham?
still a bit muffled. I'm not sure why.
Sounds muffled? Hmm.
Let me try again. Let me try again.
Yeah, keep speaking, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you. I just have to find out if the others can. Those who are listening, apart from Abraham, can you hear? Okay, Kamhar is saying that they can hear. Anybody else can hear? Okay, continue. They're saying they can hear. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, great. I just wanted to raise the issue with the thing out there on one of the topics for the evening with the Barbados Water Authority. They're billing that person that we recently been complaining about the billing of their customers. What I have found is that for the past few years, I'd say within the past 3 to 4 years, the authority has moved away from their regular meter reading and have been issuing some estimated bills to their customers in either 4-month cycles, maybe, and then you get a bill and then you start another 4-month cycle, and then you get another bill which is red, etc. But what I found is that over the time is that the estimated rate has been increasing all the time, every month. So say for example, from January this year, it was like 90 something dollars. This is without the taxes, without the sewage and garbage tax included. So what you are actually paying as an estimated amount, outside what you are actually charged as an estimated amount, my bill had like 90 something dollars January, 90 something for February, and also for March. And when you added the $45 in the sewage and garbage tax, that would bring the bill to about $150. Right. On a regular, the average bill was around, say, $90. That is with the tax included and everything. So that's why he was paying, like when the bill is normally like, the maximum based on the usage will generally be around $90. But what I've been finding out is that each month now since May, the bill has increased tremendously. So therefore, we're getting the estimated amount for $200 plus, 100 almost $200, and this is for 4-month cycle. So that would be in June, July, August, September. So that's a total of over $800 and somebody that they will charge for estimated bills. But what my concern, this is my concern, is that where persons, their customers find it difficult to pay these estimated bills, they generally come with these big red signs on them due for disconnection. Right? How do you to go from what a person averagely pays when the month comes to these ridiculous amounts in estimations for a bill? And what the concern is that when you hear people complain about how hard things are and they're struggling, etc., what happens is then that if you see a bill coming to you for $200 and somebody dollars, you figure, okay, shit, let me pay this before it gets disconnected. Right. But then what happens then is that offset your budget, and then you might not be able to buy food, or you might not be able to pay the electricity bill, or you may not be able to buy a bottle of gas or something like that. And these are genuine concerns that people do have. And when you hear people, they call on the radio program complaining about the high water bills and stuff like that, and they're being forced to pay them because they don't want a disconnection, what you're actually doing then, you're creating other problems within those households. Because if you don't have the money then to buy food, what do you do? Right? And I'm saying this here based on this mainly for the elderly persons who may not understand that is actually estimating and believe that, okay, my bill, somebody uses a lot of water or whatever this month or whatever, and they rush and pay, and then half their pension gone paying a water bill, and then they're without food or other necessities that they need to survive.
Right. So we have on the screen your bill. Your bill. This is the estimated bill is $210 dollars and 7 cents.
That was June, and that is excluded the tax. So we add the tax onto that, then the garbage and sewage tax was about $45.
Yeah.
It's going to be 250 something that the water authority was asking me to pay them for June.
Right. When you would normally be starting at say $90.
Under $100, yes.
Under $100. So the reason we're bringing. Go ahead, Nick caller. Go ahead, caller.
You see the difference then in the amounts then due to the water authority on an estimate.
Yes.
It's not like they say, okay, you generally pay $90, we're gonna charge you $110 or $120, for that period or so, as an estimate, and then you do the necessary deductions when you link them. But these amounts are totally high. And when I call the water authority, they say, oh, the computer generates them, but generates them on what basis? You have to input something to calculate the estimate. So therefore, are you saying, will the computer say, okay, we're charging 50% of what they add 50% of what they do of the user, what the customer actually uses? Is that what the computer?
No, but it seems to me, caller, it seems to me that even looking at the other situation that I read earlier, it would appear to me that they seem to be going up like 100% estimate. I don't understand if you're estimating use, why you would need to go up 100%, almost 100%.
Exactly. So it's like, how I see it is like the customer is advancing money to the water authority, and that should not be.
Wow.
That should not be. It's like you're advancing money to them, because if it is that this is going on for like a 4-month period before you actually get your meter read, is you're advancing money to if you pay these bills in full.
Ah, I see.
And that is my concern, especially for the elderly or persons who don't have that knowledge or don't probably read their bills properly, or so, who may just see these amounts and rush out and pay them.
Pause a minute there. We want the viewers to see that the regular water bill without the sewage tax and the garbage tax is $90.74. And if they could go to the next slide, you will now see. Look at this. This is now. One of them is $193.97, and the next one, August, and then
August and September,
$204.70. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that you're looking at 100%, more than 100% increase, folks?
Actually, the bills that you see, that you will see, the amounts that you will see from 90 something, those are estimates as well.
As somebody says, this estimated bill can be used by the company to obtain an interest-free loan from the consumer. Everywhere we turn, yeah.
That was my point to the water authority when I spoke to them. I said, you are looking to take money from people, and you are not paying interest on it.
My God.
I find it ridiculous that they can probably go into the system and adjust the amount or whatever the calculation to just pull just a slightly above what the person averagely paid and make that the billable amount. But these ridiculous amounts, I don't understand.
So somebody here is talking.
Persons need to check their bills. I also call the water authority and say to them, I'm just going to pay what I averagely pay you when the month comes until I get my bill right, or demand that you get your bill right also ASAP, so that you pay your fair amount.
So you're saying that you're saying to people to call the water authority when they see these changes in their bill,
exactly,
and to say to them that we are going to pay what we normally pay, but you see, they say you have to. There's a red line there, and you have to pay that amount. It says, or you could be disconnected.
No, you gotta make a case case for yourself. You
Oh
have to
boy.
make the case for yourself.
Oh God. So what about older people who can't do it?
If it is exactly, and that's my thing, that if they have relatives or so who normally check in on them or check on their bills or whatever, to ensure that that these people with pensions are not depleted in any quick manner by paying these high bills. And that the person should really actually say, well, okay, if this person uses, say average of $30 a month or so in water, and then the tax shouldn't even be on the people bill either, as far as I'm concerned. And you're just paying, and you pay 30 and 45, you say what, $75? Then that is all you should tell them that you're paying.
Yeah, yes. I mean, already a lot of us are, you're paying for sewage tax and you're not connected to the sewage. And then they have gone into this estimate.
You're not getting regular collections either.
And you're not getting regular collections.
Yeah, because the next thing you hear, oh, the truck is broken down or whatever. After all this claim that, you bought this amount of trucks. But my thing is that when you do these assessments and stuff for the number of trucks and stuff that you have to know what the garbage output is on a weekly or daily basis on the island. So therefore you say that, hey, we don't need 20 garbage trucks, but we need 60 or we need 100. So all these things that that we just sit down and just take these things as, oh, the government gave you new garbage trucks and should be grateful, etc. No. You got to do a calculation to say, this is the required amount, so that even if you don't meet the standard, at least then you should be saying to the public, I expect delays here, I expect delays there, but you don't actually hear anything about that either until somebody calls in and say, we haven't had our garbage collected for 4 weeks, and then you hear a PR officer coming on and saying, hey, well, this is the problem, that is the problem. No, we demand better in this place.
Yes.
You should always, the highest standard you should expect from anyone in this country is from the politicians. Those are the persons that, we always want to beat on the teachers or beat on the police and beat on the nurses and stuff like that. But the persons in leadership, that is the person who should expect the highest standard from any event.
Yeah, and to think that our prime minister is the minister in charge of water, in charge of the BWA, and all of these atrocities, these estimated bills, you're ending up. How can your estimate be 100% of your bill? That doesn't make any sense. What are they putting in the computer for that to happen? What, because yeah. Well, caller, I'm glad that you were able to call and speak up for yourself and that you have alerted Barbadians to what is happening. Thank you so much for calling.
Check the bills and call the BWA and make a case for yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks. Yeah. Wow. You still there, Abraham?
I'm just here. What puzzles me is the silence of each MP across the parishes. Is the silence of the MPs their comfort? Is it because they can afford to pay these astronomical bills that they don't really have a voice, that they've lost their voice, or I don't understand. Is it that everybody's hunky dory and everybody's just having a ball, or what? This silence in the country does not really make sense. What is really happening? Is it that fear has gripped everybody, or something like that? Is it that we are so afraid to speak? Even you mean that your bill is about to be cut off and you still don't want to talk? It doesn't make sense. And there are other things they can speak up. But I wouldn't. We are dealing with one thing today, but this level of why people don't get. Sorry, why people don't get afraid and speak out? Why not get afraid and speak out or cry out? You can just.
But a lot of times it's easier said because you're not here. You're out of the country. A lot of people, their concern is that they have family members who are in government jobs. They, they because of their livelihood, they have to eat. And so for a lot of people, they are afraid to speak up. Some people, their reality is that, they could be victimized, they can be
And
marginalized. But I mean,
I
at least, write your MP.
no, exactly. Look, don't say that because when it was back, there was some people would think it was nice, and other people would think it was a rogue. We had a situation at a department where I used to work. I won't call the name. That the AC unit, having been installed in the 1992 or 91 or whenever it was built or whatever the case like that, I had to kick dust up as it relates to getting the whole thing changed. Because could you believe since 91 or 92, the AC unit and persons, many persons were complaining about bronchial issues and stuff. And then, I'm not saying that it's a white person died because of any cancer, whatever, but some things along that line were happening, and so what I'm trying to say is that you're gonna just keep quiet because I don't want to offend this person. I might not get promoted if I speak out. But that behavior is offensible. It's just not happening in the country.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You know,
Yeah. Well, Abram, thank you for coming on. Abram Millington was part of the police force here in Barbados. He's now living overseas, and every now and again, I love to hear the diaspora hear what they have to say, because there's sometimes they can articulate a lot of things better than we can, because they don't have, they're not worrying about marginalization, and they're not worrying about victimization. Although some of the diaspora still are scared to speak out.
well, don't say
You come and
I
you
must.
show your face. There are people in the diaspora. This fear is so, they fear
Real.
this government so much, and people who live outside of Barbados are still worried and talking to me and whispering. You believe that?
Well, I must say I might be a different breed of person because the department used to work in before I tell them listen to me. Even if it's my one that I have to say X and Y and K, I don't. Even if the one versus the 99, I tell them that, and they probably think it was going crazy, but that's just me. Maybe
Yeah.
it's people. It's a Well, it was a pleasure being here with you again.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you so very much. And I'm sorry you can't be here for the walk. We have the solemn walk on Saturday. If Dave could put up
Saturday.
that post up for me. The solemn walk on Saturday. Yes. Yes, I see you. I see you. You no name. You're saying, look at no name. I'm living in Barbados as I speak or type. Yeah, but you know what you put? You put no name because you're also afraid. That's why you don't have your name. Let's be real here tonight, okay? Um, so on Sunday we're going to have the walk on Sunday. On Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, we have donations of water that are going to be brought to George Street Auditorium, and we are going to leave out there about 10 o'clock and head down to St. Lucie with the water. On Sunday at 3 o'clock is when we're going to have the Solemn March for an end to gun violence. And we're not going to give up. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going on Sunday. So Sunday at 3 o'clock, we are going to bring our non-perishable food items, and we're going to also bring any toys, etc., for the children. And we're meeting at St. Mary's Church right there. And we head out wearing white and carrying one of the placards with the names of our young men that have perished, have died. Thankfully, we did not have anybody at the start of for the last 2 weeks. We didn't have to add anybody's name to the list. Thank goodness for that. Thank God for that. Right? So yeah, I think that this will be great. I hope people like No Name will come out. Judy Jilks, I know, will come out. Square Four is going to come out. No Name, yes, your name is Alex Grosvenor. Yes, Alex, good to have you. Coraline Cadogan, Teroni. I'm hoping that Richard Mears will come out. Tamika Harper come out on Sunday. Get up and get out, Anika. Ryan Rock, are you going to come out? Tyrone Nurse, are you coming on Sunday? M. Hoyt, are you coming Sunday? Sandra Charles, are you coming on Sunday? We have to get up. We have to do something, right? The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It doesn't work if we sit and do nothing. We have to do something, okay? We have to literally do something. So I'm inviting you all to come out. Esther Blue, everybody come out. Jermaine 123A, come out. Well, we're gonna put on that song. We're gonna put on this song. I don't know if you heard this song there, Abraham, but we're gonna put on the song. Dave, can we have the song to close out? There's a new song. There's a new song. You heard it, Abraham?
Let me see if I heard this one.
I'm not interested in prosecuting the boy. I tell you this already. I want money.
Wait, say what?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for true?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting the boy. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money. Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting the boy. I tell you this already. I want money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
One more time. Abraham, we'll come again.
Wait,
Abraham,
say
you like
what?
it?
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
I want money.
Wait, she really said that for true?
Money. I'm not interested in prosecuting the boy. I want money.
Whoa!
Money.
Whoa!
Money.
Yo!
Money.
You hear that?
Money.
She want money, yeah?
I want money. I want money.
You hear that? She want money, yeah?
I'm not interested in prosecuting the boy. I tell you this already. I want money. I want money.
Boy, she only care about the money.
Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. Barbados is too small for me. My pocket full, now you and job they promise me. And a girl like me want power and more money. You cry transparency, but that's a no for me. Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down.
That maths nor English, pretending to be good, pretending to be good, just pretending to be good, pretending to be good, I just pretending to care about people, 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 pretending, and I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English, I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.
All right, folks. Good night. Thank you, Abraham. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Mr. Grenville Phillips. Thanks to everybody. And I will see you tomorrow and also on Sundays. I get to see my people. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.